Well guys, I'm back in the man cave. Didn't go out yesterday, very wet, very damp, and trying to protect my feet with the, because I've got a bit of neuropathy and my feet tend to go a bit numb, and it's not good at the moment. I'm slowly combating it. It's a complication from diabetes, and it isn't proving too bad. It's just a bloody annoyance, to be quite honest. So I thought, well, I'll do an indoor one. I'll do a man cave video, highlighting some of my cook systems that I've acquired over the years. Basically, it's a bit of a video response to one of the guys on my Kish Bushcraft group, known as Northern Summit, or Patrick. He lives up on the east coast of Scotland, and he's got a leaky Tatonka, which is a spirit burner. It shouldn't be leaking, and it gave me the idea of actually reviewing the Trangia cook set that I've had for, well, since the early 1980s. It's virtually bomb-proof. The only thing I've lost on it is the strap that holds it together, but then I bought a little bag to put it in. And I'm going to move on to that, to a couple of other cook systems that I used during the year. And maybe some chit chat while I'm doing it, you know, about things that I'm doing. So I'm going to pause this for a second and move on to the next scene. Right, so here we are, the Trangia cook set. What do you get for your money? Well, when I bought this it was about £25. Seemed expensive at the time, but well, I'm still using it all these years later. It's now 2013. I bought this back, I would think, about 1982, I think. It's such a long time ago now. Here we go. Probably the most bomb-proof cook set you'll ever get. Obviously the burner sits there. The only thing I've had to do with the burner, it's the only piece of maintenance I've ever had to do, was put a new O-ring in on the seal, and I had to put a little pop rivet there because this is corroding a little bit, but other than that it's not too bad. It fits together like so. Flip these over, kettle fits on there, and of course the two cook pots. I've used these cook pots on open fires, and obviously in there. I tend not to use the fry pan setup because everything sticks to it, being aluminium. But what I might try and do is but I tend to use a frying pan that's got a non-stick base, sort of little cast iron one. That's if I fry anything. Try not to fry too much when I'm out in the woods. I don't know, it just never tastes the same. Bacon's okay, but eggs and that just never seem right. Very good setup. What I've done, originally when I got this, you had a little plastic bag which explained how the burner worked. That's since gone the way of most things. In fact, it's somewhere in this room. I'll just fold it away. I use one of these. Now this is a, just trying to find out the capacity. It's a 0.25mm tub, and in here I'll put a little bit of tissue at the bottom to give it a little bit of padding. Also absorbs any moisture, because I tend to keep a bit of mess stored in there. Pop that in there like so, and it's great, really good. Seals it, so if it should leak, it leaks into the pot and not into your kit. And I've often found it very useful. Very good thing to store your mess burner in. Also holds the little Coke can type mess burner as well quite well. Obviously the kettle has been on open fires, all sorts of fires, and fits away very snugly and comfortably. You just flip the little pan, pop the kettle in, pot grab, I always come with a pot grab. In fact, I've got a couple of spares as well. You just flip everything over, put that up around there like so, put the lid on, and I put it in this rather beaten up bag, and the little burner fits inside quite comfortably as well. So that's my Trangia cook set. Also I've got a 1 litre bottle, and I've got this ½ litre bottle as well. And I'll invariably keep this well topped up, and I'll take it out with me whether I need to or not. Okay, it's a little bit extra weight, but also there's emergency fuel. So that's the Trangia burner. In the next scene I shall be showing the little Trangia triangle plus some bits and pieces that I use on the wood burning stove. Right, for round 2, this is all the wood burning kit. Now I've got a set of skewers here. I've modified 2 of them. That's these 2. You can see if I hold these 2 up, I'll hold those 2 up. Now these go into the ground, and the other skewers fit across like so. And I basically use them for hanging bacon on or cooking sausages. They work very well. I often take these up to the wood smoke courses because I like to have a hot breakfast, and it works quite well. This year I'm taking up bannock mix as well, just for the first day. The second day I won't need it. What I've got here is, you've seen the video on that. I haven't broken this in yet, but this is the beer can wood burning stove with holes on the side, and I'm looking forward to using this. I think it's going to work quite well. I'll be doing a separate video when I fire this up anyway, but that's the wood burning stove. It's basically a slightly improved hobo stove. Right, now what have I got here? I've got a trivet, open fire, or I can actually stick the honey stove under it, but I shall get to that in a minute. I've got 2 of these. I've got a bigger version which is about that size, and it's packed away at the moment, so I'm not going to throw it around and get it out. It's a big griddle and it's quite heavy. Basically used for open fires. This is very good. I can stand my kettle on there, and I can put my billy can. I can take this off and slip that on if needs be. In fact, sometimes with some of the billy cans it's a lot better. Section of billy cans to fit on it, and it's actually quite useful. It's a little on the heavy side for lugging around. I mean, okay, if you chuck it in your backpack, you probably wouldn't notice it was there because you have your pots and pans with you. It holds my little tiny wok quite comfortably and does very well. Here we have something that's great. It's very good, and it's called the Honey Stove. I've also got the extension system, which is a couple of extra panels and also an extra base, and it makes that into the hive. The hive is far better for wood burning. This, you've got that little gadget there that fits on the third, that fits halfway up, and you see the third slot in when you're putting this together, and that holds a Trangia burner, so it's great. So basically it's a multi-fuel stove. Works really well. Again, it is one of them things that will last you quite a long time, so the cost is negated. The only problem with this is if your hands are really cold, it's a bugger to put together. But other than that, I can't fault this. It makes a good little charcoal burning brazier as well. Plus, it folds quite flat and it fits into one of them. Now this is a oven glove, and all the bits and pieces apart from the hive extension will fit into that, and it slips into a pouch. Folds flat. Great piece of kit. I say combine that with the skewers and you've got a perfectly good open fire setup. You don't have to worry about carving welding sticks or pot hangers or anything like that. Makes the job a little bit easier when you're out in the woods. Sometimes trying to get bits and pieces together can be difficult for pot hangers. So that's the wood burning setup, and these will get used during the year at some point or another. Highly recommend one of them. Again, expensive, but you know, you get what you pay for. Buy once, buy well. So I'll be in the next scene. I'll show you the basically what I call my winter cooker, which is the Primus Omnifuel. So I'll get to that in a minute. Right, the Primus Omnifuel stove. This is literally Omnifuel. Apart from wood burning, it will use a gas canister. It can use kerosene, aircraft fuel. It can use Primus Omnifuel fuel, it's like Coleman white gas. Really, really good. That fits into this little bottle here. That's the fuel bottle. Fill that up. That slides inside of it. You pump it up, prime it, and away you go. I know from bitter experience that if you leave that off, you end up with a big hole in your tarp. Thankfully, it wasn't me Woodlaw tarp. It was just a cheap one I found. Anyway, you get this as well, a small tool for cleaning out the nozzle and changing the nozzles over. You have 3 nozzles with this, for depending on what fuel you're using. The other 2 nozzles are filed away somewhere because I tend to just use the petrol based spirit. Comes with a base plate, which is made out of heavy duty aluminium foil, and also a windshield, again made from heavy duty aluminium foil. I'm going to make one out of, when I get round to finding some large beer tins which seem to be kicking around the streets around here, I shall do that. Make a better windshield. Works really well. This is great if you're actually cooking stuff for a longer time. You know, you want to cook bannock or something, you can control the heat, and you can have quite a long burn time. You know, you can cook a stew. You know, a stew could be burning over for 50 minutes. Great. I mean, the only drawback is it's noisy. Sounds like a jet engine. But this is a really pucker piece of equipment. Again, I mean, this cost me about £100, but I've got the fuel canister and everything with it. Really, really good piece of kit. Again, I can't really fault it. Works really well, and I've cooked a few good meals on it, and hope to by the end of the winter again. Anyway, guys, that's the end of this little review. So there we go. Hope you've enjoyed it. Well, I hope you enjoyed that little review of some of my cook stuff. I've got 1 or 2 other little bits and pieces. I've got the military Trangia. The burn time on that spirit burner, by the way, is about 50 minutes when it's fully loaded. So it's quite a good burn time. But the thing is, it's in awkward shape. I'm going to work on doing something so that I can actually use a spirit burner separately. Of course, with all these different burners you need cook pots, and over the years I've acquired various cook pots and let some go. You don't have to spend a lot out. I've got Zebra billy cans, but you can also go to your local Wilko's or Wilkinson's and get a cheap biscuit tin. Bang a couple of holes in the side to make a wire bail, and there you go, you've got yourself a nice cheap billy can. Don't get caught up in the if it says bushcraft on the side, it must be used like that. Long before the word came along, you know, people were using all sorts of tinware, and in fact if you look at Dick Pronicki's first film, you see him making some tinware out of old cans, out of kerosene cans and oil cans. In fact, you can make some very good cook setups with empty cans. I'm on the lookout for a large tin, a large olive oil tin, and squarish if possible, to make a reflector oven with. And basically it just hangs in front of the fire. Hopefully in a future video I'll be demonstrating all of this out in the woods and the environs, and maybe cooking up some bannock and a bit of bacon, maybe some coffee, have a good brew up. I've got myself a cafetiere for out in the woods made by GI. Really good piece of kit. I quite like it. I've used it a couple of times, and it's good. And I'll be demonstrating over in a few weeks' time making bannock. I won't be cooking the bannock outside. I'll be making it up in the kitchen downstairs and cooking it on the stove. Just to show you my recipe for the bannock and what can be done with it. Diet I've got to watch a bit now, but that's another matter. Anyway guys, there's not much to say as far as the bushcrafting world goes. I still think, you know, a lot of people tend to use it as kit fetish. Keep it simple, keep it light. Remember, when you're packing your rucksack up, ask if you really need it. And often, you know, you can think, well, do I really need to take 2 billy cans? No, one might do. And sometimes people take an axe with them because they feel they need to take the axe, and often it just sits in the rucksack doing nothing. I tend to take a throw out with me. It does the job pretty well for what I need it to do. That's just splitting wood for fires. Anyway guys, I shall see you down the line. Maybe a book review in a couple of videos time. Bye. Oh, and Merry Christmas.